All right, welcome everyone to this week's reps call. This is the last call of May and we are back after 2 weeks hiatus. In the room today we have James, Manel, Abhijit, David, Emma, Francesca, Jason, Liv, Mario, Garcia, Mrinalini, Paul, Sorwar, Rao, and General Leye. Welcome everyone. I'm happy to see your faces once more. I don't see any shout-outs, so I'm gonna give the floor to Manel, who is here to talk to you about the community portal. So you don't hear the community portal every time from me. We have Manel this time.
Yes. Thank you, Konstantina. So, hi everyone, and I'm gonna be very quick to talk about the community portal, as you might have heard about, or maybe you already have a profile there. So I'm here as a reminder. Please make sure that you change from reps.mozilla.org to the community portal, make your profile there, and update. And also, we will share later an email to give you the instructions where exactly to create your profile and where exactly to add your username of your profile. Then Konstantina and Francesca can add you to your relevant groups, because it's not like in Mozillian, there are like open groups and you can join them. All the groups are private, basically. And we are trying to, so you will see my face more, you will hear from me more in the upcoming weeks. I will be always bugging you about creating your own profile, adding your username in the spreadsheet that we will share later, me and Francesca, with you by email. And please also, if you can help us by talking to your to the reps that are in your community. So we would appreciate that more. And then we will actually have the full migration of all the users by the date that we needed it to be happen. And that's it.
So TLDR, Francesca and Manel have the right to spam you to create your community portal profile. So we migrate with grace. And you don't ping us once the community reps portal is down saying, where is my profile? Well, it's just an information. The data, the public data will be held. Arvin actually did an amazing work with Michael on preserving that data. And there will be a link with the events. We cannot migrate the events information. Neither we can migrate your profiles the same way as they are on the NEPS portal. That's why you need to create a new profile. But the information about events, it's going to be there. There's going to be a link shared for you to be able to showcase if you need it in the future. All right, with that, and thank you very much, Manel, I'm going to pass the microphone to other two wonderful ladies. Mrinalini and Francesca are here to speak about the new CPG training for community members.
So, hello. Oh, okay. Mrinalini already shared the screen.
Yeah, sorry. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Maybe you can put it into presentation.
Yes. Sorry, I got excited and I went ahead.
Okay, so hello everyone. So this is that we are going to present today is the new CPG training for community member. And we thought it was important for us to come and present it to you, because it's important that people who have a position of responsibility within the community take this first, or at least take it. And we wanted to share it with you first, also because we would like your feedback on it. So we will send out an email soon that with all the instruction, and we will ask you to test it for a week or so and to give us feedback if you find any problem with it. Now, excuse me. So this is a presentation that will give you a short overview of the new community portal CPG training that we are going to launch soon. So Melanie is going to talk to you about all the various stages of this training. So now I'm going to pass the word to her.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, awesome, thanks. So yes, as Francesca mentioned, this is the contributor training. So there is already a staff training that exists, but we realized that in order to have a healthy leadership and for the CPG to be utilized to its highest, that both staff and contributors are equally important. So this is a complementary training to the one the staff does, which is for mandatory for anyone who is contributor facing, and this is going to be for all communities because we realize that inclusion and creating these safe spaces is everyone's job and responsibility. So the community participation guidelines or the CPG, there's already information on it that people can view on the wiki page. But this training specifically is going to be on Teachable. And who is the training for? It's for anyone who's speaking at events on behalf of Mozilla, those in official programs like reps, which is why it's also most relevant for people in this group, tech speakers, campus clubs, contributors who review pull requests, issues, and otherwise interact with other contributors, with contributors with roles of influence, especially in communications. This will also include on the portal the group contacts. They're also a very key member of who this training is for. Governance roles such as Reps Council, and those who attend Mozilla events such as All Hands, MozFest, or organize other events and things around the Activate campaigns. Although this is who the training is most ideally suited for, it is open. It will be open for all community members or anyone who's interested in taking it. And there are some roles like which might, for whom the training might become mandatory in the future. So the idea of the training is for people to go from this space of fear of the unknown, not knowing exactly what CPG is. It might be a word that people have just, especially new contributors, would have just heard and not sure really what it means and how it works. So the idea is, yeah.
The slides are not advancing.
Oh.
At least I don't see them advancing.
Yeah, it looks like you have presentation view, or you don't have the presentation view, you have the slide view. So maybe take a moment
put it on.
if you can. Yeah. We've all been in this situation. So don't
it's on present view for me. Can you see it?
No.
No. Let me just move the slide. Which slide is it on? Sorry, I can't even tell.
It's on, it's not on, it's just on the slide present, like the editing mode, which is still fine. If it's easier, you can just go through those. It's totally
fine. I might just do it this way because I'm not sure why.
That makes total sense.
So sorry. So this was the who the training is for slide, in case I was just quickly rushing through. And then, I was just talking about how the idea is to go from fear of not knowing what the CPG is into a space where there's a conversation happening and people feel more comfortable and are able to trust the process. So the course will be launched on Teachable. And Teachable is quite an interactive and engaging platform. I'm sure some people have already used it before. And it will have, in every section will have an introduction. It will have some learning content and then an activity or quiz to help put these things to more application in real life situations. So the first module is getting to know the CPG. So we'll have an introduction. It talks about the supported groups. So which groups are actually protected more by CPG. And we have a new edition here, which includes casts now, which Emma worked a lot on to include as well. Expected behaviors, and then we have encouraged behaviors. This is something specifically on the contributor CPG, because, and this embodies the volunteer leadership principles as well, which is going beyond expected behaviors, but what are the behaviors that we all as individuals can do to create a more healthy and inclusive environment. Then we have unacceptable behaviors, and then other serious injuries, and then the activity and quiz. The next module talks about accepting and submitting a report, which is, how do you actually give a report? There are 2 different hotlines, more information around that, taking a report. And this also includes information on what should you do if someone indicates a desire to report with you, because I'm sure that has happened to us, or as reps, it might happen in the future where someone shares a want to report. So just things on how to behave in that situation, and then triaging the report, which is there are different priority levels as well. what does that mean? How do you understand it? And then how do you determine which level it is at? Because every level has a different response protocol. And then there's a quiz there as well. Then we have the third module, which is a resolution process. And I think this is one where there is sometimes a lot of anxiety or not understanding what this means or how it works. So really breaking down, there's a consequence ladder. It has things like onboarding. What does it mean? What is the whole process like? So just to demystify that whole process. And then the fourth is handling report data, which talks about the different risk areas and like privacy, legal, brand risk mitigation, and what are the process and systems that Mozilla has in place to protect the reporting data that comes in. Because as contributors, it's important for you also to understand that. And it also talks about GDPR and important information around that. So those are the big modules in the training. And one thing is that this is a customized training that we have built for contributors. So the idea is to put in all the information that would be relevant for community members to know and really customizing it with examples that would make that useful as well. So the next steps would be, once we send this email out to the reps like Francesca mentioned, to actually take the course. And then at the end of the course, there is a feedback form, which we would love if you could fill out by the 2nd, which is by next Tuesday, so that we can take that in and make any changes that we have to that are important. And really from the perspective of, is this useful? Is this relevant? Does this give you all the information that you think you would need in this training? And you could fill that form out. Then on the 4th, which is 2 days later, next Thursday, we're gonna launch this publicly to all community members. And the course itself also has other resources. There is a course FAQ document you can look at. There's a triage, the different priority levels I talked about. There's a document about that as well that's printable. And there will also be on Riot and Matrix, there'll be a room where you can ask questions. And there's also an email for any further information if there's something related to CPG, which would come to me, Emma, and Francesca. We'd be able to access that. And so that's basic information around the course. Thank you. And if you have any questions, we can take some questions if there are any, or any clarification.
Thank you, Minalina and Francesca. I know there are a couple of questions on the Etherpad. I just passed them as they were coming into chat for visibility, the people that they don't have Zoom and they're watching us on Ermo. Are there any questions in the room, or I can ask the questions? All right, just a reminder, CPG stands for Community Participation Guidelines. Thank you, Paul, for replying. I do know that acronyms is hard to remember. So those are the guidelines about how we are participating inside our communities. There is a question about what happens if a contributor in a role where that is necessary does not want to take or unsuccessful pass the course.
Emma, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I can take that one. So it really depends on the community. For example, inside of reps, right? Like this is a course that we're going to be rolling out across Mozilla. So for every sort of community that is asking their leadership to take this will themselves decide what those steps are. It's definitely not set up to fail people. Like that's not, the purpose is not, you know, you don't know enough, or it's to just help people. Like think of it as like a first aid course. This is like a metaphor we've been using. It's not that you know everything that you should possibly know to do to be in a role of enforcing the CPG, but rather you like have a basic understanding of all those steps that you need to take to like help Mozilla be more successful, help an individual that's reporting be able to go through the process to resolve their issues, and also for you to know that you have that backup at Mozilla and that you know you can trust the process. So to answer your question about like what happens if you don't pass it, I think that my advice would just be to talk to your mentor or talk to, you know, a staff member, whoever it is that is working with you on that phase, and figure out what trying again looks like. I think it's definitely try again, right? Like it's just it's not intended to see you fail. It's intended to make you be successful, if we could think of it that way.
Cool. And I guess to that, if somebody doesn't want to take it, that's up for the community managers in that community to decide what is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, so if someone doesn't want to take it, I mean, I think again, that's a conversation between that community member and whoever's mentoring or running the program.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies, for those replies. Are there any other questions in the room or in the Etherpad?
There was another question about the slides. So in the email, I'll include the presentation on that.
Cool. Thank you, Nalini. Any other questions? And if you don't want to speak up, you can write those questions and I can be your voice. I do that all the time. I don't see any other questions. So cool. Thank you again, Francesca, Mrinalini, and Emma for being here and presenting. A reminder, you will receive an email from Francesca about this and Mrinalini. If you have any questions, there will be an email about where to ask those questions in the email. So Francesca, Mrinalini, and Emma can reply to those questions. Just please do not add any emails on Etherpad because they're getting tracked by bots and then it's not funny. So you will receive an email, you will know to whom to reach out after this and to whom to ask questions. Of course, Mrinalini, Francesca, and Emma are in Matrix. If you have any questions, ask them. We are there to help. You can also ask me questions, but I think they're way more relevant than I am for those procedures since they build it. All right, I'm gonna pass to open floor. I think that's RZR talking about Libre Graphics Meeting Online conference. RZR, do you want to talk about this? I remember he was in the room, maybe we lost him. Oh, I think that he's connecting from chat. Anyway, so he is presenting Web of Things and WebXR experiments. If you are curious, you can watch this 4 minutes video that he's linking and ask him any questions. If you're into Web of Things and WebXR, that is your thing. I don't know if RSR, do you want to add anything? All right, I don't see anything else. We are 8 minutes before the call, so I'm gonna close this call. We are all gonna see each other next week. I do believe there is a wish from Francesca to talk about the new onboarding. Okay, RSR doesn't have audio on Linux. All right. So he cannot speak. But if you would like to add more information on the Etherpad, Philip, feel free. I think that Francesca would like to talk about onboarding next week, but I will leave that on her to present along with the onboarding team on the work that they have been doing there.
Yes, this will be next week.
All right, next week we're learning about onboarding. I can also give a very brief update about what is happening with All Hands. In a normal work before COVID, in 3 weeks, we will have Mozilla All Hands happening in Toronto, and some of the reps would be participating. There is no flights coming, nobody's moving from their homes, so the Toronto All Hands have been canceled. There's going to be the virtual All Hands where some of the volunteers will be invited to participate in meetings with the teams. They're going to be way shorter on time, so don't expect the 8 hours in 4 days kind of thing. But there will going to be some some teams inviting volunteers to participate on calls. Also, NDA volunteers will be able to watch plenaries. So you will receive information about that since you are all NDA'd. Regarding reps, we have been talking with Francesca and Ioana on how to divide reps and create working groups. The problem is timing, of course, since we're not going to have you inside the room in a physical place. It's very hard to be able to coordinate with people from Asia, Europe, Africa, and America. But we will try to work in some working groups so people can be involved. There is going to be communications on NDA discourse. So keep your eyes open on that. Okie dokie. And with that note, I'm going to give 5 minutes back to your lives. I hope you have a great day and see you all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.